Oh, hey, kept you waiting, huh? Yeah, university's still making me question all my life choices, but I figured that if Michael Reeves can post a video this year, then so can I. With Fallout getting a lot of attention this year, for better or worse, I figured now was the time to finally cosplay its power armor, something that I've been wanting to do for years now, but never really had the time for, albeit with a bit of a twist. My idea was pretty simple, Fallout power armor but painted to look like 40k. Specifically, I chose to combine the Iron Warriors with Paladin Lucius from Operation Sunburst. I mean, look at him, all he's missing is hazard stripes. I'd already drafted a simple design over the summer, and this time I started working on the templates at the start of October to avoid a repeat of last year. My first hurdle, however, was shopping. I tried to get my shopping done in one trip, but the Michaels that was closest to my house ran out of foam. So several days pass and I can't seem to find another opening in my schedule, all the while Halloween is looming ever closer. That is, until one day, I realized I'd forgotten to take my meds that morning. And I know that everyone's experience with meds is different, so I'm just gonna say that for me, a day without it isn't awful, but it could definitely be better. Once I got home that afternoon, I, in all my infinite wisdom, decided to take my meds, figuring that it would at least help with my homework. What I wasn't expecting was for my motivation to spike around 6 PM, sending me on a shopping spree that evening that lasted 3 hours. Okay, so here's what I got from my first shopping run. And here's what I got from tonight. When it came to designing the pieces, I chose to base the look on the older graphics in Fallout 3 and New Vegas, while still mimicking the way the armor closes around your body in 4 and 76. As for how they fit, I mostly just wrapped the templates around my limbs, flexed different muscles to see how much space I actually needed, and then marking down how much to cut off. But Data, how did you hold the templates together, I hear some of you ask? And that, my friends, is where the paper clips come into play. I just stick them on both ends of an overlap, move the limb, and the contracting muscles push on the paper, making it slide between the paper clips to a new position, showing me how much material I should keep. Now, most of my templates were original, except for the helmet and part of the shoulders that I modified from these free PDFs. I mean, is this cheating? Well, obviously I'm not gonna take full credit because then that would definitely be straight up plagiarism, but I just wanted to clarify that. Oh, and I should also mention, the helmet template I use is meant for 8mm thick foam, but I could only get my hands on foam that was 2mm thick. Even though I managed to snag the last sheets of foam I needed from my different Michaels, it was just barely enough to get the job done. In fact, I spent more time thinking about how to arrange my templates on the foam than actually cutting the foam. After each piece was cut out, I used a heat gun to shape the armor and prep it for painting, then assembled them with hot glue, or in the helmet's case, contact cement, and then used sticky back velcro to close the overlaps together. This is actually the first cosplay I've ever used a heat gun and contact cement for, so always good to learn new skills. One skill I haven't learned yet is sewing. You see, for this to work, I needed clothes to act as an undersuit for the armor, one that could hold each piece in place. Getting them was easy, but attaching the pieces to them was not. Originally, I planned to use sticky back velcro entirely, until I realized that probably wasn't a good idea for a cosplay like this. But I still didn't know how to sew, and I was already spending time I didn't have away from university, so I had to call in an expert. Mom? Thank you, Mom, for still putting up with me. Love you. With the loop sides sewn onto the undersuit, the hook sides on the foam pieces could connect easily. I would also need a weapon to complete this ensemble, but it's not like I have one lying around. Oh wait, I do. A few years ago, my friends had gotten me a replica super sledge for my birthday, and really the only problem was that I had nowhere to keep it safe. So I kept the packaging and let it sit in the back of my room, waiting for the right time. And now, that time had finally come. Unfortunately, despite progress being steady, it was still slow, and once again I worked right up until the last minute, barely managing to finish painting before it was time to head out. But considering that I was making a suit of armor compared to the minimal work of my last cosplay, I'm just glad I managed to pull it off to this extent. And so I suited up and stepped outside. Initially, things weren't going well. I forgot to remove a piece of tape on the nose of my helmet, and even worse, to cut out the backs of my knees. So after a few minutes of suffering, I went back inside to cut them out with scissors we had in the kitchen by literally laying them on top of one another and cutting them simultaneously so they were as symmetrical as possible. I also noticed the tape on my helmet, which I removed, and the plastic visor, which at this point had been attached with a glue stick since hot glue literally melted the color off, fell out, so I decided to remove it too since it was fogging up anyway. With my pit stop over, it was back to scaring people by simply standing still. I know it's dark, but it should be obvious there's a person under all this. Now I'll be the first to admit that it's definitely not perfect, like the helmet template I use not having the right snout shape, but since it's a simplified design, I already knew details were gonna be lost. So I decided to lean into it, and not only did it make my work easier, but it also made the final product more functional. I chose to forego the rangefinder and tubes on the helmet because looking at the default Iron Warrior in Space Marine 2, that helmet is symmetrical and doesn't have any visible tubes. I left my backplate flat and didn't include a butt plate, which made it more convenient for sitting. At first I regretted not painting any symbols, but knowing GW lawyers, that was probably for the best. But simplified or not, I made sure to design this with flexibility in mind. I'm especially happy with the shoulders, which have hinges to allow the top layer to rotate out of the way, and these strips of foam on the inside that act as springs to push the top layer back up to its original position. Are they cumbersome? Absolutely, but what can I say? I'm a sucker for big shoulder pads, and Power Armor has that in spades.
Good lord.
Man, it's been my longest hiatus yet. I'm sorry for not posting anything. These last 2 semesters have been a constant cycle of working hard and thinking I'll be okay this time, only for it to all be for nothing. Like grinding for hours to prepare for a boss fight, only to realize you picked the wrong build. Over and over and over again. That shit just really broke me down, and even when I tried to make progress on this, it often felt like work instead of an escape, or time that I could be spending to study more. But now that this semester is over and that I'm in a relatively better place mentally, I can finally finish this and in general rediscover my passion. As you can see, I tried some new things for this one and hope to keep improving in the future. Thank you all for your time, especially you rotting in bed instead of going to therapy. If you enjoyed, then consider to like, comment, and subscribe. Maybe even use that hype feature everyone's talking about. And I'll see you all, hopefully soon.